I never
Well, let's
forget those things, do
take
I?
it from the top. We have John. For those of you who don't know him, he's from Riverside, California. He's been in financial planning for over 40 years. So he kind of knows what he's talking about sometimes, but especially he knows about this club, this exciting club, don't you? Well, come in and wow us.
That's a
I get
tall
wowed every time I see this. So
that's a tall order.
sign me up again.
I think you know, finally some regulators are beginning to get some sense here because as you can see right here, the commodities future trading chairman, without Bitcoin, there would be no blockchain. And you know, that's where the banks, and we'll show you later the number of people that are doing this. But you know, when you find out that the wealthiest and the smartest people are investing millions of dollars of their wealth into the blockchain arena, don't you guys think that that's someplace you should be and go, especially if you can? Because most of the time when you're looking at a lot of good financial deals out there, the guy on the street with just a few bucks never sees it because the guys up top are taking all of them, right? They got a lot of bucks. The neat thing about Bitcoin is not only did it create this blockchain technology combined with the uh, currency side of this thing, it's opened up a whole new way that's going to absolutely change the entire way the whole country works and the way we do business. And that's through the blockchain technology. Don't confuse the two together because they're not the same thing. Bitcoin is kind of like it's kind of like an app that's riding on top of the blockchain. But the blockchain can be used for a lot of other things as well. But Bitcoin is certainly the area that we focus on because we mine it. We don't go out there and buy it; we mine it, and that's very important to understand. So what we do here is have you come over here when we first introduce people to come over here and take a look at our joinbitcoinclub.com website because this is just an information site. It's here to give you information on the mining process. This is what the first part of this thing does. Then there's a video here that talks about why do the mining and what the mining is all about. And it's very important to understand that when you mine Bitcoin, you're creating it. Uh, you can't, you know, like this big crash that we had here, people that all of a sudden got crazy and went out there and started buying coins at the top of the market and paying, you know, 15, 16, $17,000 for a coin, and then it crashed. They feel like, you know, they've been on a roller coaster ride. You know, their stomach, they lost their stomach 2 or 3 times, maybe even had to run to the bathroom to let it fly, you know, because all of a sudden they thought they had something that was just going to go up, up, and up. And all of a sudden it's going down, down, down. Well, those of us who mine, we're not concerned about pricing. There's no possible way for us to actually lose any value here because once you've recovered the cost of your mining shares, it's pure profit all the time. We don't even look at price when we do the mining, but the same mining comes in. We do need to turn the videos off though, please. Um, so this video right here, it's about a 6-minute video. Somebody's having dinner over there, it looks like. All right. Hey, good looking guy, man. I got you now, man. I got your face, right? You're on the internet forever. All right. So anyway, this little 6-minute video really tells you what's going on and talks about that thing. And it's very important to understand this. So go over and look at that. Now down here, we're going to show some more videos about the mining side of this thing. Here's Reykjavik in Iceland. You get to actually go on a tour. You know, they have regular tours. You can get in the bus and go fly over. Now, while you get on an airplane, go fly over there and get in the bus and go out to the mining area. It's an old military base. It's very, very secure. Most of the major financial companies in the world um, have their computers over there. And so it's a very secure facility. And if you want to see the current state of the art here, it's called the machine. This here is a nitrogen cooled computer. If you've never seen one, go take a look at that. That's very interesting. But above all, it's great to look at this video here. This is Andreas Antonopoulos, and if you don't know who he is, I'm happy to introduce you to him because this guy has done nothing but study blockchain technology and Bitcoin since the day he read Satoshi's paper. That was back in 2008. I mean, even to the point of impoverishing himself, you know, to get out there and tell people about it and not be concerned for generating income for himself. But he's pretty way up there. He's in charge of a blockchain, the website security. He does nothing but educate people. Goes around and talks to governments. He talks to businesses, and this is what he's doing here. He's over in Switzerland. He's talking to a room full of businessmen about what Bitcoin is and what Bitcoin isn't. It's only 17 minutes long. This is a great video to share. That's why we've emphasized them on the website here. You know, they're the two largest ones here. These are important concepts for you to learn. Once you begin to understand what's really going on, you really begin to get excited. You get these aha moments, and they don't stop. You get one or two, and you think, "Oh, that's great." You know, that's oh, I'm going to look into this a little bit deeper, and all of a sudden, you get another aha moment. And they, you know, it makes it hard to sleep. Sometimes people can't sleep after they really get what's going on here, because this is a generational change. We're not going to go back to the old way. This is like the railroads and electricity and radio all got invented at the same time and hit the street at the same time. The magnitude of the change that's coming is just going to be, I don't even know how to describe what's going to happen here. But an awful lot of people are going to be out of work. We know that there are pensions failing, and we can take care of all of those problems through the blockchain technology and Bitcoin. And Andreas tells you why. So go to his YouTube channel, learn everything you can about it. Now, another thing that we do have to talk about is um, people say that Bitcoin is a scam. I hear that a lot. And, you know, it's just somebody who doesn't know what's going on. And if they haven't invested the time to look into it, they don't know. But here's an easy way to show people that it's not. And that is because the US government created a benefit for taxpayers called an IRA account or 401k account. It's a way to build a retirement plan. And they allow them to defer some of their earned income into these programs and let it accumulate tax deferred until they're ready to take it out, right? They let you put Bitcoin and digital currencies in these plans. Now, if the government really thought it was a scam, I don't care what the banks say, Jamie Dimon, it's a fraud. Well, if it really was, they wouldn't let you do this. And one of the reasons is because when you take your coins and you put your private keys in there, you know, you have to give up the private keys. That's one of the neat things about Bitcoin and blockchain is the anonymity of it. They own it now, not you. They're holding it, and the government can control that account, can change the rules on it at any time. Current rules don't always hold in place. By now you all know that they always change the rules, right? It's not a matter of if they're going to change the rules. It's when are they going to change the rules, and you know what are you going to be stuck with. But even more so than that, you have the two greatest magazine or publications in the world, widely recognized as authorities, talking about this. Bitcoin is a red hot asset that's now being used as a retirement investment. The world's hottest asset is the newest way to invest for retirement. Now, people just saw this huge drop in value in the price. Look, this is not that bad. You know, if you go back and actually there's some articles on Crypto Coins News, right? Right here. The same thing, Crypto Coins News. This is a great place to get information about what's going on. And they go back and there's an article in here that even talks about, you know, the history of the corrections in the market, how they happen and why. And right now, Bitcoin's kind of volatile. And frankly, that's kind of good. It encourages a lot of trading, a lot of adoption of Bitcoin, things like that. But there's no need to be concerned. This is kind of a normal process. The largest drop was a 94% drop in the past, many 50% drops. And as far as drops go, this is nothing. This is getting all of the scammers out of there and getting all of the weak traders out of there that don't know what they're really doing. It's healthy. It keeps a good, solid, good market, and things will be back and going well. If you listen to any of the prognosticators out there talking about Bitcoin and the value they expect Bitcoin to be at this year, their estimates are anywhere between 13,000 by the end of February to 100,000 by the end of the year. And by 2020, John McAfee, who really ought to know, he's a mathematician and he's even set up his own mining company in order to take advantage of it. He thinks Bitcoin will be at $1 million a coin by 2020. So take it for what it's worth. Just pay attention. The one thing is you can't lose any money if you're doing through our Bitclub program. Because once you've recovered the cost of those shares, it's 100% profit. We don't care if it goes down. It doesn't matter. We're still accumulating it. Now, the other way I want to prove that it's not a scam for you, because a lot of people are still concerned about this. They know there's this little idea in the back of their head that it's not real. Well, this is how you can tell that something is very real and not a scammy program right here. Because if you go over and go to blockchain.info, go to data, select charts. Okay, we click on charts, and in these charts, they're all kind of, you know, regular line charts here. One of them here down below is a color chart, and it's also in a circular. It's the only one on the page, so you can't miss it. You simply click on that one. I don't know where my pointer was going. Okay, and this shows you the companies that are actually mining at a profit, all of them. And this changes. This is a live chart. This is not always the same. It always changes. All the amounts are saving. Bitclub network floats down here, then it's back up here, and back and forth and back and forth. All right, so when you go to a little scammy program, they're not going to show you any of the stuff I'm about to show you now, and that is the actual transactions and the bank account of Bitclub network. None of those other programs will ever show you any of this information. And that's how you can tell whether they're a real program or not. Because if they're real, they wouldn't care. It's all visible on the blockchain. But if they're scamming, if they're Ponzi's, they won't show you this stuff. Now, somebody says they're mining. They may be. They might have one old mining machine sitting in a bathroom someplace, cranking out electricity, and take a picture of it and say they're mining. The problem is these are the only companies that are mining at a profit. And if their company that says they're mining is not listed here, then you've got to be extremely skeptical that they're doing anything according to what they say they're doing. So anyway, the next step here is you simply scroll down the page and you find Bitclub Network, and here it is. Click. And that's going to take us to a recent block found by the Bitclub Network. And we'll get into what blocks are and stuff a little bit. But you click on this hash code right here, and it takes you to that transaction. You can actually see what they did. We're also going to be talking about what constitutes an award and a block, but just suffice to say, there was some transaction fees of $7,368 in the blockchain account. And when they won the award, the amount the award paid them was $95,974. It's not a bad day's work right there. Okay. Now, if you scroll down a little more, my scroller will scroll. There it goes. All right, come on, let's find the spot. What I want to see is this one here. See where it says unable to decode output address? That's the last transaction. See that right there? Newly generated coins. We don't buy the coins, we create the coins. And that's what you begin to do too. Now, this coin has to go someplace. They don't have any place to send it because there's no other transaction going through here. Well, where does it going to go? It's got to go into the Bitclub Network wallet, right? That's their bank. So here it goes. Click on that address, and there we are. So what they're saying right now is the total received in this round is $527,254,814. That all gets distributed directly to the members. None of it is kept. Many other mining programs out there, especially some famous ones, like Genesis Mining for one, they don't do that. They've got extra fees and things that are associated with it. They don't get 100% distribution. They do here. Okay. Now, as a reserve, we don't really have any debt. There's no ongoing problem. Everything is paid for. There's 123,231,000 sitting in the bank account, ready to do, for cash flow. So this is way you prove that somebody is doing actually what they say they're doing. And it's a way to protect yourself if you want to look at things out there. Now, I told you about the smartest people out there and the most money. Here it is. This is a chart. This is through 2017 July, and you're going to recognize some names here. Let's see here. Here's Richard Branson, right there, the Virgin Group. Let's come on down. Come on down. Let's see who else we got here. How about the Utah Governor's Office of Economic Development? How about Tim Draper, the famous venture capitalist? He's the guy that predicted in 2020, I think it was 2012, that Bitcoin was going to be around $10,000 by the end of 2016. And they beat it. They actually went double, 20. And he only said it was going to get to 10. But when he said that back then, everybody thought he was crazy. and he was insisting not. And he runs classes now, and it's very expensive to attend his classes on blockchain technology and Bitcoin. But you just keep looking through this place, and you find all kinds of things. Okay, here we go. Here's Wells Fargo. Here's Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Thomson Reuters, Andreessen, Horowitz. Look at that. All these guys here. Draper again, he's in on this deal too, right here. And it doesn't quit. It just keeps on going and a going and a going. There's just, it takes a little time. This is a live chart. Otherwise, I'd go through and highlight a bunch of things and just show them to you. But you have to look through each time in order to find them. But the main thing I wanted to show you was the amount of money that's flowing into this thing. As of last year, it's more now, way more now. Here you go, 2012, $2 million was invested by these kind of people. Oh, yeah, this one's always good. Here is Roger Ver. Okay, here is Ashton Kutcher, the actor, and more. If you scroll up a little bit, you'll find some more. Oh, well, let's see. I'm not seeing anybody offhand. Anyway, right now, up to that date of 2016 in July, it's 1,799,000,000, and it's climbing. And this is amazing. This is very real. So why anybody would ever say it's a scam? I mean, I read the New York Times article today about blockchain failing and all that kind of stuff. Well, did they ever talk to you about the Ponzi scheme of $20 trillion in debt the U.S. has, and all of the claims of wrongdoing by using Bitcoin? Are they kidding me? Have you looked at the bank fines and the criminal charges against all these bankers and different organizations that are scamming people around the world and doing money laundering and all that stuff? And they dare say this? I don't know how these people actually can stand up and even look in a mirror. I mean, they should be so embarrassed with the lying that they're doing. It's not funny, but it just shows you how valuable this is, because you got to take a look at who the people are that are fighting against it. Now, the banks are very happy, and the governments, if you turn all this over to them and you don't do any of it, because they don't want you to have any of this stuff, because it represents what? It represents true freedom. You have financial freedom. This is funding and money that you can accumulate and have some real value in the future, and instead of being less. You know, it's really bad when you put money in a bank account, you're trying to save money, and the bank is charging you fees for holding the money. They call it um, negative interest rates. There's no such thing. They're just stealing your money, right? This is good. These people are the ones you want in charge and controlling your financial future. I don't think so. See, we don't have to put up with it anymore because we have this. Anyway, let's go through our little presentation here quickly to talk about it. This is our masthead. This is that website that I showed you, joinbitcoinclub.com. Kathy and I are here to support a team. We're trying to build a large team of people that are trying to get into the mining program to work with us. I'll explain how some of that works in a minute. You can get in touch with us anytime through Skype, Kacarab or Kathy.Bailey4. But the point here is we want you to get back to the person who invited you. Okay, that's it. This is a team approach. We can't do all this by ourselves. You can actually build quite an extraordinary pile of Bitcoin over time with this program in a very safe way, because we've totally eliminated the downside risk. Okay. Now, Bitclub Network Global Leaders is our Facebook page. You can go over there and you can request to join that. And if you are on the team already, you need to invite your own friends and family into the Facebook page yourself. Because when you do that, your name is attached to them as the person who brought them into the group. And if they say, I want to buy something, I want to get a pool, I want to increase whatever it is, we know who to contact because your name's attached to them on the referral, right? So do that. Make sure you do that. Now, if you contact us, we're going to want to know who referred you, okay? Because again, we're trying to support a team, and we're trying to build a bunch of people working together so that we all get lots and lots of Bitcoin for the future. Now, that said, we make every effort to ensure that we accurately represent the products and services of Bitclub and the potential for economic gain. And there is some. Earnings or Bitcoin cash flow statements made by the company or members are estimates of what you can possibly receive. There's no guarantee that you will make these levels of Bitcoin, and you accept the risk that the earnings and Bitcoin income possibilities differ by individual. See, there's more than one kind of risk out there, right? There's capital risk, there's market risk, there's interest rate risk, and what everybody thinks a risk is loss. And there's more than that. The examples are not to be interpreted as any guarantee, promise, representation, or assurance. We do not purport Bitclub as being a get-rich-quick scheme. It's certainly not. We're not going to get out there and pay you 2-3% per day. Say you're going to be making all these double your coins in 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. Nope, we're not part of that. Been there, done that, lost a lot of coin. Never do it again. Now, 2008, Bitcoin started, right? 2009, the first transaction created the first global digital currency that is decentralized. Very important concept here. We want it decentralized. We don't want it controlled. It's not owned by anybody. It's not controlled by anybody. It's not money either. IRS claims it's a form of property, and Canada says it's kind of a commodity. But the point is here is that we deal person to person. We do not need to go through banks. We don't need to get approval. Listen, you don't think you get approval because people have challenged me on that. Look, if you take your debit card or credit card and you go down to a store and you want to buy some groceries, right? And you hand them the card, you run it through the machine, and it says, "Did you agree to this?" And you say yes, and you click the, sign your name and all that stuff. You were given permission to do that. Do you realize that? They could stop you. And I've been there. My card didn't clear. Held, I didn't know why. All I know is it didn't work. And it should have worked, but it didn't work. Somebody turned it off. Is that what you want? Well, then you stick with the present system. If you do this, you don't have that problem anymore because you're in total control of everything that you're doing and the funding that you build. That's what I want. And that's the only way to build financial freedom for yourself in the future of a constantly increasing asset. It is a new asset class that constantly increases in value because it's being adopted by the entire world. So it's a safe way to transact money. It's fast. It's instantaneous. It's anonymous to a point. I mean, if somebody really wanted to find you, they could spend a lot of money and a lot of time trying to trace internet addresses, but it would take a long time. Anybody can set up an account because there's no age restrictions. It's not like a bank account. We don't have to go by banking regulations. Just download the account, the wallet, an app, and you're in and you're doing it. Bitcoin itself has no fees, chargebacks, or borders, but the miners do charge some fees for handling the transaction in addition to the award that they get to bring new coins into the market. And we're a miner. That's what we do. So the question becomes, who uses Bitcoin? Well, that's a hard question to answer anymore because these guys used to be a rarity. Here they are as a bunch of them. Not anymore. More and more companies, and they're not even advertising it anymore. They just take Bitcoin. You find out when you go in the store. And in Europe, you go to an ATM machine, you get cash, currency, whatever you want. Plus, you can always go do Bitcoin there at the same time. It's becoming commonplace. 5 years from now, this is going to be very commonplace. A lot of people right now are really just hearing about Bitcoin. I know because I talk to a lot of strangers. I just walk up and talk to them. I'm like that. And I want to talk to them and find out if they know about Bitcoin. You can just walk around and say, "Hi, how are you? Listen, I got a question for you. Do you know what I mean by the term Bitcoin?" See what they say. See, we're in a period of education. And these guys over here, PayPal, Citibank, MoneyGram, we don't need them anymore. And I hate their intervention. We tried to get some funding, $20 out of Australia up to the United States. It took weeks. We tried to get $20 from Lithuania into Australia, and it took weeks. And you know what? It's all PayPal. And PayPal Australia didn't talk to PayPal America or PayPal Lithuania or vice versa. It's like they were separate companies, and they used just crazy excuses as to why they couldn't get the money to transfer. We've had enough of it. Just don't want it anymore. Now, if you do need to still get a card, there are different ways to handle your coins. You can still get some debit cards out there that'll handle coins. You put the coins on the card, they convert it to a currency. That's one method. Another method is you get a card, you put the coins in the account, and they stay as coins until you actually do a transaction, because you may not be in the US with dollars. You might be someplace else in a different currency, and you'll get converted there. But eventually that's not going to be the way it's going to go. It's all going to go on your phone. Now, this is going to be a brief explanation of how this whole thing works. Now, we're a miner. Bitclub is a miner. What's a miner? Miner is a company that has a bunch of computers that handles all the transactions, and all the miners compete for the chance to generate an award. What's an award? The award is an amount of Bitcoin that gets given to that mining company if they are the ones that get the block created for the blockchain. So what's a blockchain? Blockchain is nothing more than a ledger. You know what a ledger is: debits and credits, pluses and minuses. That's all it is. However, the miners and the way the blockchain is designed, it needs an entry into it about every 10 minutes. And there's lots of transactions going. And so the miner that wins that award to put in that block in that 10-minute period will get whatever the award is. Now, it started out at 50 BTC when it began. They had to give them enough incentive to get them to set up the companies to do the operations. And over time, as the adoption rate ran up, there were more and more transactions. The award cuts in half every 4 years or so. And right now in July 2016, in July, it cut in half again, and currently it's 12 and a half Bitcoin. Again, in 2020, it's going to cut in half again, and it'll be now 6.25 Bitcoin. Notice this gold line. This shows the deflationary nature of this. They do not want a repeat of the inflationary of all the fiat currencies. I have a list of all fiat currencies from 1700 to date. Every single one of them has gone to zero. No value whatsoever. All of them. And then the book also tells you why they failed. Almost without a doubt, it was overspending, and they continued to inflate the currency until it just wasn't any good anymore, and nobody wanted to use it. Didn't hold any value. Now, the black line shows the adoption rate of people using it. It also shows pricing, because as more and more people want it, it's scarce. That's why it's a deflationary system, because scarcity creates value, and there's only going to be 21 million coins. And this is very, very different from all the other coins out there. The Bitcoins are limited to 21 million coins. And the last coin will be mined in the year 2140. I'll be 192 years old. Okay, so that's kind of a while. Anyway, that's a brief description, and let's move on. Now, what about the mining? What about Bitclub? Mining comes in three types. There is a type where you buy a machine and you set it up wherever you're going to set it up, and you turn it on with electricity and you let it mine, and it works. The problem is, as what they call difficulties, the more adoptions, the mathematical formulas required to be processed get bigger and bigger. We're talking into the billions of guesses, transactions, because the computers guess. They don't have an answer. They try a solution and run the math and see if it works. And then if that one doesn't work, they got to do another one. And that's what they do over and over and over again. So the equipment runs out of ability to handle it, thus becomes outdated, and you've got to buy new machines. Plus, you've got heat from those machines, and you got electricity costs. So what you end up with is a brick sitting there that's generating a lot of heat and costing you a lot of money. The second way is you have companies that are called cloud miners. What they do is they set up a bunch of computers, and they sell you time on those computers, a hash rate, a certain speed, a certain hash rate, plus they sell you a certain amount of time. You pay in advance, and at the end of that period, it's over. You got a certain time limit, and it's done. Now, do you think you're going to get back into that account with the same amount of money? Not likely. Maybe a few times, but what's going to happen is their computers are going to run into the same problem. They're going to have maintenance. They're going to have upgraded. They need to generate a profit, right? So they run into the same kind of problem. The idea behind Bitclub was these guys wanted to set up an operation where you pay one time for your pool, your shares in the pool. You never have to come out of pocket for those shares again. What did they do? Well, they set it up so that you buy your share, and that mining then generates a Bitcoin amount. Now, everything is paid for when it goes into the pool, so they don't have any debt service, and they don't have any fees. They don't take any fees out of the mining. Remember, I said everything is distributed to the members. Now, out of that, you can take all of the Bitcoin that's generated and put it in your Bitcoin wallet, and you can take it out and do something with it. But they also have what they call a repurchase operation, because when you set up a contract mines for 1,000 days. Now, what they do is they take a portion of the Bitcoin that you're generating anytime, and you have an amount of Bitcoin that's equal to 5% of a pool value. So if you have a $500 pool that you paid $500 for that pool, 5% of that's $25. So if you have $25 in Bitcoin, the system can buy you a partial share. And that's what the little B here is here. So I say the big B's create the little B's. These little B's accumulate at 5% rate, 20 of them creates a full share, a whole another entire share. Now you got 2 shares in your account generating Bitcoin for you. And the idea here is to always be doing some partial shares so that you have a constantly increasing amount of mining going on. It's not what you mine today. Again, you got to get in here and get this thing started, because when this pancakes, this accumulates over time, and I'm going to show you an example of how that's worked for us just since June. This is great. This is fantastic. You can have as many shares as you want. So as you build up your shares and it generates more Bitcoin, you can also take some of this to buy additional shares and additional positions. It's great. And this is why they've been successful, because it allows even the average person to get access into Bitcoin streams that will last for their lifetime, not just a few weeks, their lifetime. And Bitcoin is going to be extremely valuable. That's why they're calling it digital gold now. The estimates like Max Kaiser, Max, what am I saying? Max Kaiser has said that he expects Bitcoin to be in excess of $1 trillion. And recently he's even said, thinks it maybe be more than $1 trillion because it's such widespread adoption of it. I mean, there's a mad rush to do this. There's a whole economy being built around Bitcoin that you're not aware of, that you're not seeing, and you're not hearing about from your local news media. You literally have to get on the computer and go to CryptoCoins News and go to Cointelegraph and go to CoinDesk and all these other agencies and people. There's a massive, massive flow of people moving into Bitcoin. You need to get a part of that, right? But what are you going to do when coins are going to be running up as high as 20,000? A lot of people thought they missed it. It's over, man. 20,000. Oh, gee, I wish I'd bought some coins. And then it fell, and they said, oh, geez, I'm glad I didn't buy any coins. Well, that's silly. And all that means is you don't know enough about it. And so the more you learn about it, listen, I, as a planner, rejected it. I mean, I knew about it early on. I, I had people that were involved in it, techie guys, that said, hey, you got to get on this. You should do this. You should get part of it. No. What are you guys, crazy? We're going to run our money on a computer system? Hell, I lose data on a computer system. That's scary. I don't want to do any of that kind of crap. I'll just do what I'm doing. Then in 2008, I finally realized that everything that I had done and put together was worthless. I mean, there's a lot of money in the plans and everything, but geez, the inflation was so bad, they don't buy anything. And anytime that you have an asset that you have, especially money, you have to save for the future. And yet the very guts of what you're trying to accomplish for yourself and your family. When you go to work every day, you trade your essence of life for something. You do something for some kind of compensation. You cannot get it back. So when they come along and they inflate the value of that away from you, they have stolen from you. People have got to wake up and understand what's going on. So you can do something about that now. That's what Bitclub does. And Bitclub makes it easy for you to get started, because all you have to do is acquire a share in a pool and get started and learn how this thing works and use the system itself to help you build some wealth with Bitcoin. Pretty simple process. Let's march on. Okay, now there's some other ideas out there, as opposed, it's just like arguing with your family, right? No matter what you say, somebody's always got to say, well, yeah, but I had a big family, so I got used to that for a while. Look, they say go do stocks. Okay, everybody like the stock market? How do you like the fluctuations in the stock market recently? Listen, it's even worse when you're over in Forex. It's as worse or as bad as Bitcoin is. Bitcoin's a little more volatile, but you still have the problems that are associated with it. Stocks are no store of value. Those things are going up and up and up because of all that money that the government's been giving them, called quantitative easing, that's not making it down to you and me. Remember 2008? We're going to have blood in the streets. We're going to have martial law if we don't pay the bankers all this money. They were supposed to provide funding for the people. They didn't. This is why this came about. You got to go back and look at some of that stuff. Go back and look at the 60 Minutes program that was done about it. And they went to a job fair where people literally were crying over their 401k statements because they lost so much money. They didn't. There's another thing out there called nomads. Um, there's a book just recently released where this author went and with travel with these people, and there's a whole bunch of people out there living in, rackety, rickety RVs and stuff, chasing seasonal jobs around the country. They lost everything in the 2008 crash. They lost their homes, they lost their jobs. They don't know what they're going to do. They're older and they got to take seasonal work wherever they can get it. You get into this kind of program here, and that stuff goes away. You finally have some future. Even those guys can get into this program. How about buying metal, silver and gold? Well, it's old technology and it's just not functional. If you really had a serious time where you were going to go do something with your gold or silver and you need to take it down to the store and buy something with it, you can't. They don't know what to do with it. And yet, if you're trying to get them to take the gold or silver, there may be people in line there that see that you have it, and you may not get to the car until you're a lot lighter. Metal's heavy to carry. What if you had to leave? Like all these hurricanes and these earthquakes and these fires, and you had to go across a border. And you try to take your metal with you. Don't You're not going to get across the border with it. See, with Bitcoin, it's in your pocket. Everything you have. So Andreas says that you have a Swiss bank in your pocket. So no matter where you go, and I always say people need to be ready to take an extended vacation at a moment's notice. Um, Pretty soon I have to take my own advice because I'm not even in that position right now. But I'm certainly going to get there in a hurry because I understand the necessity of it. I had an associate too with Katrina. His money was in New Orleans, and he has all of his paperwork and he had some coins and stuff like that. And they were under 17 feet of water. He couldn't get them. So he had no way of getting housing. He had to go into one of these large shelters down there. And I'm sure you remember the bad stuff going on down there about that. Um, I don't want to be part of that, and I want to make sure that I can take care of myself and my family and whatever people around me, to do. So this is an answer for that. Now, the other alternative is to just buy some bitcoins and hang on to them. They're going to go up in value. Good move. That's all you're ever going to have. At some point, they're going to go way way up, and you're going to sell them. Oh man, I got to take some profits. Oh man, I got to buy me a new car. Oh man, I need something. You're going to sell them. And then all of a sudden you'll be sorry because you'll say, oh, geez, I wish I'd hung on to those things. Gee. That actually happened to me with gold coins. I didn't think the price was going to come down. I thought we were on our way and it was just really going to kick it. And all of a sudden, the gold coins that I was selling, which I intended to buy back, all of a sudden, I couldn't sell them anymore for what the price was. My strategy, I was locked into it. I had to do it. And yet they were only worth half of what they were when I started selling it. You just can't count on that kind of stuff. Now, you've heard about golden eggs, right? If most people given an opportunity is, do you want dollars or would you rather have gold? They're going to say gold. That experiment's already proven. But what if you could get the golden eggs? And that's what the club is. No matter what you have there, it's going to continue to pay you and pay you and pay you. And it is the goose that lays the golden egg. So why not own the mine and have a continuous supply of Bitcoin that you can rely on? Yeah, you're going to be able to spend some, but you're not going to run out because you're going to have a continuous program constantly paying for you for the rest of your life and for the life of whoever you will it to. I think I'm going a little long here. Listen, let's prove that Bitcoin is going to go up in value just by the very nature of what it is. Amazon had sales in 2014 of 89 billion, 3% transaction fees. That means it cost them 2.6 billion a year in fees. If they just dropped the credit cards and debit cards, they'd more than double their net income. So they're going to do it. I can't imagine them not doing it. So that $89 billion will begin flowing through Bitcoin and will generate an additional $6,300 in value. So right now it's at 6,000 plus that, 13, 14,000. It's going to go back up and it's going to go back up fairly quickly. You're going to be amazed at the speed with which all this is going to happen. And that's just one change. What about remittances? $600 billion in 2014. It was 54 billion in fees. Money moving from country to country, person to person, buying things overseas, paying employees overseas, things like that. So Western Union fees can run between 4 and 20%, or bank fees. It's very expensive to send things. You got to wait days and weeks for things to clear. With Bitcoin, it'd be instantaneous, and that 600 billion flowing through Bitcoin would increase the coin's value by $42,800. Gasoline too. It's $234 billion a year in gasoline. It'll bump it up another 34,000. So you're pushing a $75,000 coin just with those simple changes right there. You see, it's the capitalized value. Look at all of this stuff that we didn't even talk about here. You got the music industry. You got network marketing programs. You get the movie industry, billions and billions and billions of dollars that are going to come and start flowing through Bitcoin. And that's going to increase the capitalized value, which automatically forces the value up. You are just at the beginning. Don't think that you've missed anything. You're not even at the beginning. It's just beginning to crawl out the door. There's more than enough opportunity for everybody to get on board. So the other thing is, look at the adoption on a worldwide basis. There are 2.5 billion people who are not banked. They have no way of doing any kind of transaction. There is no bank. Now, these guys have phones, but they don't have computers and they don't have pads. And so this whole thing will run on a phone. So now, what do you think the value is going to be when all of the funds of 2.5 billion people that now have a way of making money, of setting up businesses, of transacting things, making loans? What do you think the value of the coin is going to be at that point? You see why we're talking trillion dollar numbers now? This is a massive move for only 21 coins, and that's why it's being considered a store of value. There may be other coins out there that'll be used more for transactional purposes, but the real savings and stuff is going to be in the Bitcoin area. Here again, I showed you the list over there. All these people came from that list. They're all in that list over there, and they're the ones that are doing the business, but they didn't bother to tell you about it. Not on your life. They kept it quiet. Here's the ecosystem and how it works. You have software companies that work with the hardware companies, which generate the mining programs. And then you have custodian companies. This is a place where you would sit and hold your coins. You also have exchanges. This is where you buy, sell, and trade. And then you have all of these ancillary companies that are being formed all over. In fact, Bitclub itself has got another company called CoinPay I'm going to talk about in a minute. See, the videos are back on here. Let me put that out of the way. Okay, now, again, it can be done by the phone. All transactions can be done. We have a program called CoinPay that's coming out. Now, anybody who is a member of the Bitclub will be able to participate in the CoinPay system, and you will be able to refer merchants. This is a merchant settlement system, and this system is designed so that a merchant doesn't need to go through a bank. So if it increases his business because he'll have more customers. When people have coins, they generally want to use them. You could walk in and buy whatever you want with Bitcoin, or buy it with Ethereum or some of the other coins that are out there. The nice thing about it is the merchant, he gets paid what he wants. So in the system itself, automatically, if a merchant wants dollars and he doesn't want any crypto coins, it automatically converts it to dollars for him. And he's in total control of that. He can specify a percentage, some in coins, some in dollars. It's a lifetime deal. He signs up for $399, and that gives him lifetime marketing and advertising rights through the company. Because a lot of people to travel, we're highly mobile lately. If we're going to a different area, maybe we'll want to go to a restaurant that takes crypto coins rather than something else, or a gas station, or whatever service you're looking for. you know and this is the neat thing about this as a Bitclub member is there's a max 1% fee charged to the merchant, and if you refer that merchant, you get half of that fee for as long as he's doing transactions. Pretty cool, huh? That's could be bigger than even Bitclub in terms of generating revenue for people, because you can sign up anybody. Pretty neat. All right, to join the Bitclub, all you got to do is come up with 99 bucks. That's a lifetime membership. This is a club. You are an owner. When you put your funding in the program and your machines are in the pool, you are part owner. We look at this as a crowd-funded cooperative. It's not incorporated. It's just an organization, an unincorporated organization that works together. By nature, you become an owner when you join the program. And then what you do is you decide what pool you want to buy to start with. You can start with a $500 pool, a $1,000 pool, or $2,000 pool. This mine's at one rate. This one doubles the rate of the $500 pool, and this is 4 times the rate of the $500 pool. When you have all three, you're considered a founder. Or if you want, you can just come in with the $100 membership fee and $3,500 and buy all 3 pools at one time, and you're considered a founder. Why would you want to do that? Because of the special bonuses that you get. Right now, you can get 1,000 shares of the CoinPay company. It's in Hong Kong. It's already operating. It's in Korea and in Japan already. And they're really hard testing it, live. They want to make sure before they take it out worldwide. And they got to get all the marketing materials they don't want to release it until it's available everywhere at the same time. All languages. It's got to interface with everybody working anywhere. That's the nice thing about Bitcoin. When we go border to border, cross border, Bitcoin over there, or whatever there is the same as it is here. You don't have to go through any currency conversions like you do now. But you get 1,000 shares of the CoinPay company here. When that company gets sold, and we believe it's going to be sold because this is such a disruptive technology to the current credit card system, debit card system, that a conglomerate's going to want to buy it. And they'll offer a multi-billion-dollar sale. And if you have shares, you can sell your shares and take the profit. Or you can keep the shares and just have an ownership position in the company. Pretty neat. And they're given to you. And the neat thing about that is that your minds never quit. Once you start them up, once you get them going, they never quit. They don't take breaks. 24/7. You get paid every day. And you begin to double. And then you can begin to triple the amount as the shares go up, and you use the partial share system. And that's what you want to do. You want to build mining power for the future when these coins are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got. Why don't we open it up for some questions and see if anybody wants to say anything? And you guys who are in the system already, you got to talk about it. You got to let people know, because they don't know if you don't tell them. Oh, I'm going to do one more thing before we do that. I think there's one more thing I want to talk about. Told you I wanted to show you the partial share business. These are mining pools. We started in June of 2017, June 9th. We started with 2 shares of each one of these pools, a $500 pool, $1,000 pool, and $2,000 pool. Now, just since June, we have been buying the partial shares. Every time we got enough Bitcoin to buy a partial share, we bought it. And so just look at this list. Now, see, eventually these are going to expire. These contracts up here are going to expire. But I got all these down below. They keep it going. You see that? Look at this list. Look at that. And we've got some that haven't even started mining. When you set up a partial share or something, you have to wait 30 days. It takes them 30 days to get the equipment in and get it operational. They test every piece of equipment, no duds, right? They don't want a bad machine in there. And so when your machine goes in, it's going to work. We have these that haven't even started mining for us yet. And that's the idea. This is real power. So we started off buying with 2 shares of the thing, and we've already doubled it. Okay, that's a pretty good deal, don't you think? I do. Okay, let's see if anybody wants to say anything.
I agree with you 100%. And you're always in control with this. That's very cool. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
If not, we need to make way for Michael. Michael's coming on to do some trainings.
Mr. Seeley's in the house. All right. Okay, we have Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
I started with 1 share back in June, and I already got all my money back from it within 4 or 5 months.
That's amazing.
Fantastic.
That came quickly, a lot faster than I expected.
Let's do it again. I love this.
Yep.
Well, that's a neat thing. You can do it again. That's the point.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
You can use those coin to buy other shares.
Yeah, and it's so convenient. You know, if you want to do that, you can just do it right there through your back office. I'm really getting a lot of feedback. Are you?
No, but it's like you're stuttering. It's choppy.
Okay.
No, otherwise you're clear.
Okay, good.
You're loud enough and everything.
All right. Well, we have Michelle. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's what we're all seeing. And once you get your initial back, it's all gravy into perpetuity.
Yep, everything's gravy. Once you get it all back, initial money back, it's all gravy after that.
Has anybody ever named their kid Perpetuity?
Probably.
You think?
Where's Frank Zappa?
I had a client that named her son Sunshine.
All right. All right, we have Michelle. How are you this evening, Michelle?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you guys for hosting. You guys are so awesome. You guys really understand this whole cryptocurrency thing. Well, I joined not so long ago and I still don't understand. But my question to you guys on the GPUs and the repurchase, I'm really confused what that means. Does that mean that we're going to, I mean, does it work like the mining pools 1 and 2 and 3, like they don't expire as long as you keep them at a certain rate? I don't, can you explain that to me along
It
with the G
what?
mining, along with the founder GPU?
Yeah, they're doing the same thing that they're doing here with the Bitcoin. So now because the GPU pools only mine for 2,000 days, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't.
I don't think
They,
you touched on GPU. Besides Bitcoin, we do mine Ethereum and a few others. Do you want to touch on the GPUs for a second?
well, yeah, there's more to mine than just the Bitcoin, but this is the basic system. This is where everything starts. You got to get Bitcoin in order to get the other things too. Get into those programs. So you want to get your Bitcoin shares going, and then if you want to take some of the funding here and use that to buy GPU, GPU is mining things like Ethereum. In other words, there's two different kinds of coins. The others are a different kind of a coin or a token, and they can be done with graphic cards. Genesis, we get all of our cards from our partner Genesis. I didn't touch on our partners or anything yet today, but what they did is that you got 2,000 days of mining, and that was it. It was over. You had to buy another contract in order to continue. But people like this repurchase arrangement where you can take some of the mining that you get and put it back towards buying a partial share to accumulate another full share, so that you have continuous, ongoing, lifetime mining. And that has been accomplished. One of our mathematicians figured out how to do it, and now they're putting it in place so that once you start with an Ethereum pool, if you want to keep mining it forever, it'll mine forever.
Okay. Well, how about the founders GPU?
Same thing. Founders is only like 5 individual $1,000 pools. That's all it is. Just like there's 3 different pools and you add them up, it constitute a founder position. You have 5 $1,000 GPU pools. That's called a founder position for $5,000. You can buy it all at once, or you can buy it $1,000 at a time.
Okay, and difference between a founder and a regular GPU, the individual, um, you have to aim it at one point. I know we could
No,
switch, no?
that is supposed to be 5 individually controlled pools that you can switch back and forth to different coins. There was a glitch when they set it up, and that's going to be rectified.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, so we don't have to set the GPUs like we have to do in our Bitcoin minings, right?
Are you talking about the percentage amount mined and amount
Yes.
repurchased? You will do that. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be
Oh,
able to do that.
okay, so it just hasn't happened yet.
No, it's in the process.
It's in the process. Okay,
Yeah,
all righty.
and it should
Okay.
be here sooner rather than later. They're making some major strides in making this thing just as good as better.
Right, it's just getting better, and I understand we're just getting started, the whole cryptocurrency world.
Yeah.
Okay, you explained that very well. I understand that. Thank you very much for recapping on that and explaining it to me.
Well, thanks for your comments and questions. I appreciate it.
Okay. Next, I see a lot of guests in the house. If you have any questions and you're unable to speak, you can type your question in the chat. Or if there's any other members that want to say something, feel free to do so. Okay, I see Michael's in the house. Mr.
I are here, yes. And I was
Yeah.
just thinking, as that young lady was saying, that I think both John and you both do an excellent job of walking through this and simplifying it. I had a course called Demystifying This, XX, and you guys do a great job of demystifying what it is and then answering questions to help people to have a better grasp of what they got and how powerful it is. Because you helped do that to me, and I thought I was pretty sharp until I had to have you explain.
Well, you're pretty sharp, Seeley, buddy. You know a lot of stuff, man.
Yes, you do. But yeah, it's know,
Well, thanks.
it's a brilliant system. I mean, the way they have this set up is just mind blowing. It really is. I mean, once you grasp what you have your hands on with this program, you're just. I used to sit around as a kid and try to levitate. Well, I don't have to practice that anymore because I'm levitating. I guess maybe I watched too much I Dream of Jeannie or something, but this is a powerful program, and you'll be walking on water too.
Well, it certainly gives people some hope for a financial future that they can control and actually own.
You bet I won't have to be tearing tickets at the Tilt-A-Whirl, you know?
I have a
That's
question,
what.
if I may.
Yes, please.
I don't know if I can, about the upline. I know how it works in Bitcoin or a Bitclub for his upline. How about with the GPU upline? Does it just go just upline through the GPU or upline through the GPU and the Bitcoins?
It works exactly the same now.
And it goes up, then it goes to the Bitcoin that we already have too, not just a GPU upline.
Well, you already know how the Bitcoin side
Right.
works, right?
Yes. Right.
All they're doing is cloning what they did for the Bitcoin side
Cloning. Okay.
and
Good.
setting up the GPUs to do that. So if you have 2,000 day pools now, like we do, they're going to be changed to the, well, like I think they're going to give you the option. You can either keep them or change them. I don't know what they're going to do for
Yeah.
sure,
Okay.
but I want the repurchase system. I'd rather have
Yeah.
1,000 day contract and the ability to reinvest a piece of it so that I always have constantly increasing mining going on.
Nice. Set it and forget it. You don't have to dink around
Yeah.
with it every day. This
Yeah.
is going to be so awesome, and that should be rolling out
Look, you
any day
guys,
now.
this is the huge. I mean, I, I'm just impressed. You know, it's not about the amount we get every day. It's what happens over time. Because all I'm doing is compounding the money on top of the money. I don't have to realize it. It's not taxable, right? Would
It's
I? We just
mind-boggling.
it just keeps to accumulate. See this? It just keeps going and going and going. This is just since June of last year.
Wow.
You know, and now we've turned it off. So you got zero. Because what we're doing is we're taking the extra enhanced mining that we're getting out of here and using that to beef up other positions.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll come back and turn it back on again. You know, I mean, it's just great.
Hey, and notice what you've got there, John. This is Mike again.
Wow.
Look at your total shares there. You got 4.0 on each of them. So,
Yeah.
And you start looks like with 2. You've already,
Right.
as the gentleman said earlier, doubled what you've got there.
Right.
And I mean, that's just terrific. And you can see your total earnings. So that's pretty significant.
Yeah, it is.
It hasn't stopped yet.
It won't. And if you get more shares, you get, you get other positions, you can actually you can double and triple dip. You can have these positions sponsor other positions below you. And then you not only get your coin, but they also pay a residual to the higher position that you had. See how that works?
Hey, that's a key point. And that's something we're going to be talking about in future trainings as we get the basics down, because that is huge, what John just said.
You guys have no idea how powerful this is. You can't see this just by looking at the comp plan. We do know this, though. We have talked to some people who've been doing this for some time and looked in on what they're doing. Back in July of last year, some of those people who went out and were, they were involved in the networking world. They knew a lot of people, but they went out and really intentionally tried to refer a lot of people. And they're getting way in excess of 250 Bitcoin a month every month. None of these little scammy programs out there and stuff that people are pushing are ever going to approach that kind of volume. And this is over time, okay? You guys can do the same. It's just a matter of word of mouth. This whole thing this is by an invitation only program here. This is not a mass market deal. You're not going to be seeing us talk about, we're going to cover the Super Bowl and we're going to advertise and we're going to have, announce it to the world. We're having a big meeting at the Hilton. No, this is a private deal. This is a private organization, and it's personal invitation only.
So be sure and thank the person that thought enough about you to bring you in tonight, because this really is a gift that we've been given here.
Let me tell you, my big fear is.
I know that sounds cliche, but it's true.
Yeah, it's true. But my big fear is that we're going to end up like Venezuela. That's a lot of debt the country's carrying. I have no idea what's going to happen. But if we have this, if everybody knows how to do this and is participating, we've got our own economy. We don't have to worry about what happens to the dollar. So it takes us out of the worry system. We don't have to think about these things anymore. We got our own deal going.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a really positive thing for people. It lets you sleep at night, guarantee that you got a house paid off. It used to be you only need one person working in the house to take care of the family. You could have bigger families. You could have vacations. Your house ended up getting paid off. You had a retirement party. Everybody's working all the time now, 24 hours a day for life.
And with all the pensions being cut in half, I mean, they're working even till their death, 80,
Right.
90, 100.
It's
Yeah, it's sad. But this is something that you can share with those people and really help them, because I know I'm too damn old and too tired to go back to work.
Let me give one other benefit before we go, because we got to get out of here for Mike. Look, we don't have to go out there and tell people to buy products that are overpriced and may or may not work, and have auto ships and roomfuls of potions and pills and books. And we don't have to do any of that here. The machines themselves do all that work for us. All we do is participate and acquire the machines and set them up to mine the way we want, and the machines never quit. No strikes, no union deals, no shipping problems. They just keep producing. I don't see how you can beat it.
Well, I can see the repurchases go more frequent as you get more and more.
They do. They accelerate.
Yeah.
That's correct. Anyway, guys, we got to go.
Okay, and what are we going to do?
Well, we're going to close down, and then we're going to reopen. So we're going to...
Exactly. We're going to have a little mini training with J. Michael here.
We'll see what he's got cooked up for us tonight.
Yeah, he's always got such great stuff. So we thank you for coming. And for those guests, we will be back here again Friday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you have developed some questions or would like to share this with somebody, feel free to do that and come back and join us. We'll take just a couple seconds to close this down so we can get the...
I asked that question right.
Okay. What's your question?
So you did understand my question, though.
John.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
I thought maybe he might know.
Oh, maybe he's talking to a guest. Okay. Are you good to go, Richard?
Why can he get so many in June repurchasing? Okay.
He's talking to somebody. Okay, on that note, we're going to close this down for a couple minutes and come right back in so that Michael can do an awesome training.
Great.
See you in 2 minutes.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you for coming, everybody. Good night. And members, come back.